I will pursue. I will pursue. Well, good evening, and God bless you all on tonight. Listen, I am super excited to welcome you to this broadcast on tonight. It is going to be absolutely incredible, and I have some special guests here with me that I am so excited to bring forward on tonight. We're going to be sharing and talking about something that you want to hear about. So this is a great time to go ahead and share and tag this broadcast. It's going to be a great interview with my apostolic leaders and pastors and mentors. They are here tonight, all the way from Tampa, Florida. Listen, you have not met a couple like Apostle Lajun and Valora. You have not met a couple like them. They are so unique. They are so gifted. They are so reverential toward the things of God, so honoring toward the people of God. They are entrepreneurs. They are authors several times over. They are pastors. They are apostolic leaders. They are prophetic voices in the kingdom of God. And they are here on tonight with us to talk about this incredible event. And so I want you to take a moment and share and tag this to your page, because we want this broadcast to go far and wide, because we want it to reach as many people as possible on tonight, to share the wisdom and knowledge that Apostle Lajun and Prophetess Valora have, and also to share about this incredible event coming up in just a couple of days. So right now, I want to bring to the stage Apostle Lajun and Prophetess Valora. They are here, and I am super excited to welcome them on tonight. Good evening, Apostle. Good evening, Prophetess. How are you? Oh my God.
Good. So excited to be here. Thank you so much for allowing us to grace your space and to be a part of your broadcast and be even a part of your conference. It means so much to us. We've watched you over the years, and so we've seen God do amazing things through you. And we're believing that this year will be one of the greatest years that you've ever had, and that God will just literally show up and show out in your meeting. Amen.
Amen. Awesome. We are certainly blessed to be here. So honored and looking forward to all that God has in store during this meeting, and even as people watch on tonight. So we are certainly blessed.
Wow. Thank you guys so much. It really means a lot when you have leaders that you regard and hold in high esteem, and that you can trust, and that they have integrity, and that they walk in the fear of the Lord, and that you can be yourself with. I love that Apostle Lajun and Prophetess Valora have brought a sense of stability to the purpose that I know God has given me, and really just created a space where I could flourish even more in the things that God was giving me to do in the ministry and business ventures that I was already walking in. So I have to thank you guys and give honor to you. It's been incredible to be connected with you guys over the past couple of years, and we have spent intimate time together. They don't ever know when I'm coming, but I will pop up on you in Tampa. Isn't that right? I think I just did that. And they have come out here. They came out here a few years ago for my ordination that we had and Let the Prophets Speak gathering and launch of that ministry. And they were out here with me in the New Jersey area, and it was amazing. And so we really enjoyed that. And I have been at the Fearless Global supporting them in Atlanta. I have been at the meetings in Tampa. I ministered at their New Year's service a couple of years ago, the prophetic night, powerful, awesome. Listen, we have ate together. We have shopped together. We have traveled together. Listen, I am excited about my leaders. They are amazing people, and I'm so happy to have them here tonight. So we want to jump right into what's happening, because I want you to tell the people just a little bit about what is happening on November the 8th in Detroit, Michigan area. I want you to let them know what's going to be taking place, and also what your assignment is going to be in that weekend. So I'm going to hand it over to you guys to share just a little bit more with the audience about why you are coming to Michigan area in just a couple of days.
No,
Apostle.
one of the things I was going to say is that we did something. You're very special to us. Let me say that you're very, very special to us because we just finished our newest book, and we finished another book recently, which was called The Entrepreneur's Master Plan, where we really talk about business and leadership and entrepreneurship and how to develop your business. But then another book that we just finished was also the exponential factor, which we talk about the 5 factors that impact every organization. And so the first place that we're going to offer that book is at your meeting. And so that's how special you are, that we wanted to create that, make sure that that was together. Our assignment at this Pastors, Leaders, and Creatives Conference is in the areas of leadership and business. And so we're going to be there to attempt to answer the questions that you would have. We have personally developed quite a few businesses. We've written, to this point, we've written 31, almost 32 books, and 32 should be coming out soon. But we also have a publishing company where we're publishing lots of people's books, and we're also had a chance to publish our spiritual fathers books, Apostle John Eckhart, and so that's on the bestsellers list. And so that has really impacted us. And then another thing that we do, we have our own seasoning line, and we've got a lot of different things we do besides ministry, things that we do with our local church, and then with our network of churches and leaders. It's not just church pastors, but it's also entrepreneurs or people who lead parachurch ministries. And so we've been really excited to do that. Usually you see that people would divide the churches from the parachurch, but I try to bring them all in together because I think we can learn something from each other as we navigate each one of those different dynamics of ministry. And so that's our basic assignment that we're going to do. We're going to talk about leadership. And I don't know exactly how. I think I looked at the schedule and I saw that we have 2 different sessions that we're a part of. And I think each one of those sessions is about 1 hour to 2 hours. And so we're excited about those sessions. We're praying that people come and they ask us all the questions that they pull on us. They pull all of the anointing out of us. Now, let me say this. Besides the fact that we've pastored probably about 25 years, 15 years at Contagious Tampa together, but then I won't even go into my wife's background in ministry and what all she did. But as I was thinking about that, navigating that, we've really been able to see, like, we've been to 140 something cities in the United States, and we've been able to see a lot of ministries. Then we've also been to 35 countries by now. And so we've been all over South America, Central America, all over the Caribbean, all over Africa, all over the Pacific and other places. And so we're really, really excited to bring that knowledge and that wisdom into your meeting and to just share with other leaders the things that we've learned over this process. Again, we've written books, and we can go into any bookstore probably in the United States, and you can see one of our books on the shelf, or they can order it on the shelf. And so we're really excited about that. So I think that's the biggest thing that we want to be able to do, is just bring our wisdom and knowledge to the table to share with you. Then the other thing is we have secular degrees. We just got through with so you have a bachelor's in leadership from University of South Florida. Then you have a master's of business administration from in the concentration on executive leadership from Southeastern University. And then, of course, I have my degree in religion from the University of South Florida, and then pursuing my master's degree. And so it's just amazing to bring all that stuff to the table. And then we just got through with a boot camp through Syracuse University in project management. So, and that's another thing that I'm really excited about. I'm going to say Apostle Sharita, because I'm really excited about that, because I think that sometimes we look at managing organizations, but we don't look at the project management portion of it, the creative leadership, all those different dynamics are so very important as we navigate from a leadership perspective, because we got to be able to help people understand how to organize, how to strategize, how to develop their strategic plan, and really launch that to see success. And I know you're an expert at that. Listen, I know your resume, and I know how amazing you are, and all the experience that you bring to the table. And even as a part of the organization, that we have leaders who are just amazing that are part of our organization, that bring a wealth of knowledge to the table. And so I'm excited to be with you. I'm excited to share with you. And I don't want to do all the talking. I want to let my amazing, beautiful wife be able to share too. So, yeah.
I certainly adhere to the sentiments of my husband, and all that is going to take place during this event. And so even with the title itself, God of the Pivot, and we have to pivot. We have to really begin to pivot into that area of creativity. Oftentimes the church can sometimes see things from a different perspective, which causes sometimes the church to be delayed or behind. And so we've got to catch up to what's happening around us and really tap into that creative side of us. And, creativity is not just for social media, but it's for the church as well. It's for the body of Christ. As we come together, we're going to be able to hone in on different aspects of creativity, work together, seeing how we can come together. And I think this particular meeting particularly is really going to show unity in the body of Christ and how we are supposed to work together. And so it's going to be demonstrated during this event, this powerful gathering that's going to take place in just a few days. And so if you can get there by any means necessary, because it's going to be able to take your business, your ministry, your parachurch, or whatever area of influence that God has called you to, because oftentimes we want to know, how do I increase my influence, my affluence? How do I increase our connections and so forth? So this conference is going to not just answer those questions, but they're going to provide the solutions to your questions. So get ready, because it's going to be absolutely amazing.
Wow.
Wow, that was powerful. Come on, y'all. Give it up for Apostle and Prophetess. They are here. Wow, we see some people joining in the chat, and we're so happy to see you. Hello, Pastor Latrice. God bless you. She's in our network. I see some of our speakers in the chat. Hello, Evangelist Logan. I see our staff. Hello, Lady Roxanne. God bless you all. We want you to all take a moment and share this and tag this and highlight your followers at your page or highlight at your main pages so that we can get a wide reach on this. We want them to hear what our apostle and prophetess have to say. They've got some wisdom on tonight for creatives, for pastors, for business leaders. Listen, they have not just traveled to all of these countries and not learned anything and written all of these books and curriculum. They have the wisdom of God. They have a whole seasoning line, y'all. Did you hear? She has a whole seasoning line. So they are taking all of the gifts that God has given them and they are using it, and they can show you how to do the same. I think the church has been in an interesting transition. And it is a time now where we have to maximize all of the resources for church growth and expansion and even growth in your business. What would you say to some of the people that are watching, that are trying to determine how they can expand their business, expand their ministry, expand their reach? This is something that you and Prophetess, I believe, have done well from the Contagious Global Network of Pastors and Apostolic Leaders, which I am a part of, that you guys cover and lead, and also to the churches that you've planted, and particularly the church that you planted and lead, the local church in Tampa. And so you've been able to do this in your business areas, serving on boards, and also in your kingdom government areas. So what would you say to those watching that are saying, how would I expand? How will I maximize my resources at this time for growth? Because things have shifted. We've got to pivot. What would you say about that for someone watching in the chat?
I think the first thing that we look at is that the statistics say that oftentimes the church is several years behind the business realm or the business sector. And so I think that is something we've got to look at and we've got to really pay attention to, because oftentimes we don't necessarily grab information from the same perspective or at the same time that sometimes the world does. And so although I think that we need to keep our biblical foundation and our biblical theology, appropriate, I think at the same time, there are factors that we can bring into our dynamic to be able to launch us forward. So for instance, I often talk to business people, and sometimes I'll go to places and I'll be talking with the business people, especially even government people, like people that operate in government. And sometimes they're saying it's difficult for them to be a part of a church because sometimes church leaders may not know how to utilize their gift and their anointing inside the four walls of the church. And so for me, I said that's a challenge, because sometimes, for instance, I'll give you, for instance, sometimes you have a person who has an administrative gift. And this person who has an administrative gift may not necessarily do well at the local church level. They may not be the person who you can say, well, you're gonna be over the usher, the hospitality, all of these different church groups, but they may be a person who can help you run your organization from a perspective that helps you interact with the local government or the city from that perspective. And so they may have the ability to help you to navigate. And sometimes if we don't see that, then what will happen is that person will go either they'll get out of the church or they'll go somewhere where they feel like their gift is going to be used. And sometimes, they may not be the person that sings. They may not be the person that prophesies. They may not be the person, that does these things in the traditional church setting environment. But what this person may be able to do is be able to help launch us so that we can get the grants that we need, so that we can interact with the local politicians, so we can do the other things that are necessary to see us go to the next level. And so I think that it's oftentimes that I think the church really has to shift. And I also say this, that after COVID, there was a shift also, because everybody was within the four walls, but now you may have people who are part of your organization who live in other cities or other nations or other countries. Yes. And so that pushed us and caused us to get outside of our local environment to see the fullness of what somebody can bring to the table. And so I think that's something that we have to do. One of the things that we did just before COVID, the Lord instructed us to do was to begin to set up to make sure our social media, our media was good, make sure our cameras were good, make sure all those things were good. And so we made sure all that was together before COVID came. So when COVID came, we were already prepared. So we had cameras, we had lighting, we had all our whole setup, we had everything together, because we knew that something was coming, and we didn't know exactly what, but we knew that something was coming. And so when it came, it didn't catch us by surprise. We were ready for it. And I think the church must do that as well, that we must be prepared for the shifts. And then let me say this, and I want to pass it off to you. The other thing I think that we have to shift is in our perspective, that sometimes the culture of the world may be slightly different. And so I think that we cannot merge our culture with their culture, but we have to be the catalyst for maintaining the kingdom integrity and the kingdom honor and the system that Christ laid out. But I do think that we can navigate that from a perspective that lets us incorporate different things. For instance, your business sector, or you may need you may have to incorporate your creatives a little bit different than you potentially did in the old days. Because I'm from the old school church. I'm listening, Lord have mercy, I'm from the old school church. But I realize that there's a value in incorporating and embracing the new culture and where people are, because I still think people need discipleship, and they need direction, and they need guidance even in today's society. What are your thoughts about that?
I absolutely agree with what you were talking about. It's so important and so valuable. And one of the things too, I think with the church, oftentimes we focus more on putting the responsibility on God or the Holy Spirit to do it, but we ourselves have to expand ourselves. And sometimes that means going back to school. Sometimes that means a mentorship in a certain area. That means implementing new things, new programs, new ideas. So it's very important that we have to shift. There is a pivot. There is a shift that we have to take, because we have to be involved in that. And so if the Holy, sometimes, we say, and the Holy Spirit is amazing. He knows all things, but he's not going to give you the answer answer oftentimes to everything. Sometimes we're going to have to go and pursue those answers. We're going to have to go and get the knowledge and the information needed, even as you were saying, that we had to update our equipment so that we can have a better presence on social media, so that we could do more than one broadcast at a time, or more than one particular outlet at a time. What does that look like? If you want increase, then you've got to do something different than you've done in the past, because if not, you'll keep getting the same thing that you've always had. So those things are important. Again, updating, adding value, and bringing other people on and putting them in the right place. I think that's very important to do. And, expand yourself, learn something new, something different, get mentors in your life so that they can help you and assist those persons that are where you want to go. And so it's going to be important for you to be committed to that mentorship process, be honorable in that, make sure that you are not just there to get what they have, but you're there to get the wisdom so that you can apply it to your life and get the results that you desire.
One thing I want to say before we pass it back to you, Apostle Rita, one of the things I was thinking about is in every craft, every area of society, like when you were nursing. Now you were a nurse for 24 years, and as a nurse, you had to get CEUs every year. And so in every other profession, we have to get CEUs every year. We have to upgrade our knowledge, our wisdom. Some things you have to do even with your professional career. Sometimes you have to go back and get that other knowledge or other wisdom, because things are updating every year. Things are updating.
Absolutely.
And so I think that the church must also do that. We must also pivot so that we can make sure that we're updating our skill level, our levels of understanding, so that we can be progressive. I think is the word I'm looking for.
Yes.
Yeah.
Wow, such good wisdom. Come on. They are dropping nuggets for free tonight, okay? Typically, to get this type of level of strategy and insight, just even at this level, some people, will charge you to sit in the room to hear this. But we thank God that they are here tonight, and that they are also going to be with us in Michigan, okay? In just a couple of days, at the Pastors and Leaders and Creatives Conference on Friday, November the 8th. And they're going to be with us all weekend. And this conference is on Friday. And so you definitely want to head on over to the SLE Global brushfire.com and get more information about the lineup of dynamic speakers from all across the country and creatives that will be with us, ready to pour into you as a business owner, a ministry leader, as a creator, a singer, songwriter, dancer, author, whatever it is that you create. There's going to be tools for you. There's going to be insight. There's going to be strategy that can help catapult you to the next level that you're trying to achieve. So listen, you guys just came out the gate ready. You can tell they do this all the time. I mean, they're just so professional. Look at them, and they look so amazing tonight, by the way. So listen, there is something going on as well, where we have a lot of leaders that are trying to do multiple things at one time. Now, you all have managed to successfully do business, do ministry, do pastoring, do apostling, do you're doing it all, at one time. That dynamic can be challenging. What type of advice could you give potential leaders, potential fivefold ministry gifts that are trying to get started, the creative that's trying to create, the leader that's becoming and evolving into a leader, in terms of their focus and their lens that they could do just to get started? Like, how do you start? What are just a few nuggets that you can give on tonight to the leader that's beginning and to the creative that's trying to create? Because not everybody is where we are. Not everybody is already, excelled. My desire with this gathering is also to inspire those that are emerging leaders and that are, creatives that are trying to get started. So what type of advice or tools could you give them as well?
I think the thing that's benefited us over the years and has made the greatest difference in our lives is that over our time, like over the 15 years of the church, one of the things that we were doing before we started the church, and then the thing that we continue to do is we continue to make disciples. And so making disciples, whether it's in business, whether it is and we also train, like every Saturday morning, I am on a call with the fivefold leaders in the Contagious connection. So every Saturday morning, I don't care if I'm in Panama, I don't care if I'm in New York, I don't care if I'm in South Africa,
Yes.
I don't care if the time is 12 hours ahead,
Yes.
I am there because
Without
consistently I want to pour into the leaders that we're called to do. And the same thing we try to do with our leadership team at our local house. We want to make sure that we're continually and consistently pouring into them, because as you duplicate yourself, it's impossible to do all that you're called to do as a leader if you don't duplicate yourself. And so you have to be able to duplicate yourself. But the only way to duplicate yourself is to train. And so I think that's a huge part of what we do. We've done the Discipleship Training Institute now for probably about 15 to 20 years. And so we've always done that training. And I think that's what's benefited us. And so I tell any leader that's there, you've got to be afraid. And one thing my wife always says is that she tries to work herself out of a job. And so whatever she's doing, she's trying to impart to other leaders so that you can work yourself out of a job. Because if you're the only person who can do what needs to be done, your organization's in trouble. The other thing I would say for creatives before I pass the baton to you is that with creatives, I think that one of the things that can be challenging is if you're a creative and you're trying to create things and you've got this really excitement, you've got a lot of excitement, you've got a lot of energy, creative energy in you. And sometimes you've got leaders who may not necessarily accept your creative energy. And so what you've got to do is you've got to show them that it's going to work. Sometimes leaders you would feel that they don't accept you, and so you feel rejected, or you feel like they don't receive what you're saying. But that's not true. I think that every leader wants to take his organization or take the organization that they're leading to the next level, and they want to be able to receive creatives. But what you got to be able to do is you got to show them that what you're trying to show them is going to actually work. Yes. And I think that's a lot of times what happens too. Yes. In the business sector, we have the department called our research and development. Right. And so we allot a certain amount of finances to research and development. Mm-hmm. In the local church, normally we don't have necessarily research and development funds. And so the thing we've got to do is we've got to navigate that with wisdom. And so for instance, if you're a creative on the screen and you're saying, I want to get started and I want my pastors to support me, then begin to show them that you have some fruit in the area that you are, and show them that it's a difference between, this interesting thought I have too, is there's a difference between theory and because everything that operates well in theory does not operate well in practice. And so, I think we have to develop our prototypes and then fine-tune our prototypes and make our prototypes so well that people say, no, I love this prototype and I love the real thing. And then people will begin to receive it and accept it. What are your thoughts on that?
I certainly agree. And we've certainly seen that. We've done that. And it's important as a leader in whatever aspect, if you want to start, whether a ministry or a business, you must have a vision. And so you have to have a vision that people can follow. Mm-hmm. It's got to be plain enough for people to understand your vision. Mm-hmm. They've got to be able to see what you see. And you've got to have a team. Mm-hmm. You've got to have people on your team. You cannot do everything alone. I know God gave it to you. You were on a 300-day fast and God gave this to you, but you are going to need a team. You're going to need other people to help you and assist you, and find your grace. Find your grace and walk in your grace. Oftentimes we see so many things that people are doing, and so we can turn on any social media outlet and we can see a lot of different things, but we've got to find our grace. We got to know the vision that God has given to us, and then who has God assigned to you in where you are, because sometimes that can change as time goes on. You've got to be ready for change as well, because things will change, because things are changing every single day. Mm-hmm. And you as a leader must change as well. As times progress, as things move forward, you're going to have to change. So you've got to have a great team. You've got to be able to lead well. You have to, as a leader, you've got to be, be forward thinking. You've got to anticipate things happening, and you got to expect what you did not expect as a leader. Yeah. In business or ministry, things are going to happen that you did not plan on. And you may have the perfect plan, so to speak, but there will be sometimes hiccups. There will be snags. There will be things that come. You're like, oh my goodness, I had a budget, but I didn't expect these things to happen. So you've got to be able to deal with those things so that your team will not give up. If you give up, no, you can't afford to give up. No, you've got to persevere. You've got to endure. You've got to have that support system that is going to inspire you, is going to support you during those challenging times, because it's not a matter of if they will come. No, it is a matter of when they come. That those times will come. And so my husband and I, we work so well together. We do everything together, but we understand the value of each other. And so we've had to, in so many areas, he's my strength in the areas that I'm weak. And so likewise, and so we're able to work together and not allow anything to stop us or to come in between us, because we are each other's strength.
Yeah.
I love that. Wow. The faucet is just pouring. I mean, are you guys receiving on tonight? They are just so humble and gracious. But this is years of preparation. This is years of trial and error. This is years of developing the processes and the strategies that work. And that's how they're able to give and impart this. If you think this is really something, I mean, imagine if you're in the one-on-one with them and you're able to get coaching as a pastor, as a prophet, as an apostle, as an evangelist teacher, or as a business owner, as a creative. They're going to be able to help strategize with you and give you even more in the session if you're there. Okay. And so you can join us virtually too if you're not able to be in person. They got a special little treat that they're going to tell you about at the end as we're wrapping up. But I want to just see if there's anybody in the chat that has a question that you want to ask Apostle Cole and Prophetess Cole, because if you have something that you just want to hear from them, I want to see. And then I also want to ask Apostle, because I'm going to ask him this. He really has a heart. One of the things I tremendously love about him is that he has a heart for pastors, for apostolic leaders. And he told you his commitment to being online every Saturday, which he is, even at the airport. He is online. In another country, he's online. And we are having our pastors check-in session with our apostle. And I love the commitment that he shows, because it shows you that when God is giving you something to govern and to lead, that you should be a good steward over it. And so some of us are waiting for God to breathe on and to grow and to expand our business, our idea, what we want to create, the ministry calling. But what have you done with what he's given you? And we know that when we're faithful over the few, God will give us much. We must learn to become good stewards over what God has given us. Do you witness and evangelize on your job? How about in your home? Before we get the pulpits and the podiums, Apostle, I told you in Prophetess, when I came up in ministry, I got a call to ministry in college. Okay. I don't want to date and age myself, but it's been over 24 years ago since I accepted the call to ministry and went through extensive training for over a year and a half and being watched and training every week and serving under elders and pastors in the church, and then being tested through the PAW and licensed and affirmed and watched again for another year, right? So back then, and it sounds like it's so old, it wasn't that long ago, but 24 years ago, it was a little different when you acknowledge your call to ministry. Many of our churches had systems and protocols that they would put ministers in training through. And what I have found now that I've become one of been in ministry for a while now, that a lot of the people are not going through the same processes. And so it makes it a bit challenging. The same is true for building your business. As soon as you don't get 100 followers on your podcast, you're ready to quit. We have to become good stewards over what we've been given. So that leads me into my final area that I want to have them share before we close on a few points. And I want to see if you guys have a question. So we're going to be checking the chat and we're going to have them answer your question live if it's a really good one. So Apostle, you have a heart for apostolic, prophetic leaders and pastors. Those of us that have parachurches, parahubs, traditional churches, marketplace apostles, prophets. You have a network that grows this gift that a lot of the people that come into your network are already well, established typically because just the type of ones that you help, but you have a true heart and passion to disciple and mentor. And so I want you to tell the people why, as an apostle, you believe it is so important for you to mentor pastors and prophets and apostles and leaders. What is the heart behind that, like for you personally? Because here we go, Lord, I wasn't going to do it. But we have a lot of people who, what I will say is that you're calling, Paul said, I make full proof of the office that I have been called to. I qualify the call that's on my life. I make full proof of it because I do the work. There's fruit that I bear that confirms that the Lord Jesus has called me to do this work. And the fruit is not about me and how many followers I got and how many engagements and how big my calendar is and who knows my name, but it's about the fruit in the kingdom and the fruit in the life of God's people. Why for you? Because it's a lot of apostles and pastors and people out here. Yeah. Why for you is it so important to do what you do the way you do? Why do you help the people you help in your Contagious Connection global network?
Well, I think it's there's two reasons. Number one of the reasons is because I know what it's like to try to build alone. Now, I did not, when we first started ministry, it was a few years before we connected with our apostle. And I've been reading his books and gleaning from his knowledge and his wisdom for years before I connected with him. But we didn't really have anybody who could really take us and show us how to build what we were building and how to go into our region and begin to network with other leaders and begin to really build and begin to see that. So oftentimes, and then the other thing is that sometimes when you're talking about apostolic and prophetic ministry, man, sometimes it is lonely. Sometimes there's unfortunately there's so much competition in different regions because everybody's trying to, sometimes it's a real challenge. I'll say it like that. I won't say the word that I usually use, using my wife and I talk about. So it's just a mess. But the reality is that it's challenging because most times people don't want to really network and build and strategize with one another. We are so much more powerful when we come together to build and to strategize. And I think that's one thing. I think the other thing is that there were not a lot of people that gave me the wisdom and the strategy that we needed. I mean, there were people that had built great ministries and were doing great things, but oftentimes they just did not have the time, or they didn't set aside the time to come alongside us to help us to really build. And so I think that there was primarily those two things. The first thing is that I don't want anybody to have to go through what we went through in our initial years. I don't want anybody to feel alone. I don't want anybody to feel like they're being attacked in their region and people are not accepting them. And especially when you talk about apostolic ministry, you talk about prophetic ministry, you're talking about creative ministry where you're doing things that people are not seeing, and maybe you're breaking religious cycles and systems within your territory and your region. And so I wanted people to have an outlet and somebody to have that, and the way you do things with your apostolic network is maybe totally different from the way somebody else does it, but I don't want you to think that you're strange or that you're weird or that something that you're just out here by yourself. I wanted leaders to have an outlet and a person who could hear their ideas and then even help save them money. So if you've got an idea and I'm like, well, that may be good, but I think if you kind of twist it a little bit and turn it just a little bit to the right, that it'll have greater effect. And you would really be able to tap into something that you might not necessarily be able to tap into. And so whether it's writing books, whether it's starting a ministry, whether it's starting a media ministry, whether it's publishing books, whether it is starting a business, whatever it is, I think that we have at least enough knowledge in it, or we have enough connection. So sometimes I may not have the answer, but what I'll do is I'll say, listen, I need you to call Prophet Sharita, Apostle Sharita. She has phenomenal expertise in that. And then she has even people that she's connected to. I mean, if I even just share with you the people that are in our network, because we've not made it, we don't publicize it and we're not sharing about it all the time. But the people that are in our network have just amazing gifts and amazing anointings. And so it may not even, as a matter of fact, we were just on the other day. And so we have one of the members of our network who is a licensed clinical psychological counselor. And so as she was, navigating, she was teaching us the other day about how to go through the challenges of sometimes losing people, of sometimes having people betray you, going through all those things and still maintaining your mental health. And so that was literally amazing for us, because I'm like, man, that was just so amazing. And so again, just having those different groups of people who can come together and collaboratively bring solutions to one another, I think is a key, and what I think is a key. So yes. Let me state what I was saying again. Number one, that people are not alone, and then number two, that people have somebody who can disciple them in what they're doing. What are your thoughts?
Absolutely. Of course, we need each other, and it's so important that we again have a support system around us that not just focus on what we do in ministry, but they focus also on the totality of who you are. So we're concerned about their relationships in their home, their family dynamic, their emotional health and strength, and what can we do? How can we offer assistance to you in that area? So there are different people that, again, have their own genius that we can work together, support each other so that we can all win. We want to all win. We don't just want to win and then nobody else wins. No, we want to all win. We want to make sure that you win, that you have the emotional support that you need, that you have the resources that you need. We study books. We buy a lot of books. We read a lot of books so that we can immediately apply the information to them. So then they can get the information and apply it to their specific ministry or business. So it's so important for us to be the support to others as we are supported. So it's kind of like, it's still like the discipleship process. So we are being discipled, and then yet we're discipling others who in turn disciple others. But they're able to do it effectively because they have support and they're not alone. And so being alone can cause frustration. Being alone can cause you to be weary. And so we want to ensure that people, again, have the support that they need in doing ministry and in business. And some are bivocational. They do both. So, yes.
Absolutely incredible. I want to thank you both for just pouring out so many nuggets on tonight. I want to check the chat and see if there was a question burning. We thank all of you that have watched. There's still others that need to hear this. Prophetic, apostolic, business owners, creatives, we want you to share and tag this live, so that we can get the word out about what's going to be happening in Sterling Heights, Michigan in just a couple of days, y'all. They leave in Tampa. They're leaving the beautiful warm weather to come up to this area. And they're going to meet me in Michigan. We're going to be in the Sterling Heights area outside of Detroit, Michigan. Come on. They're going to be with us for our Pastors, Leaders, and Creatives Conference. Now, let me show you who will be joining Apostle and Prophetess. Come on. It is an amazing lineup of people that we have here on the screen. You can see them. We got some incredible folks that will be with us. You can check all of that out as well at the website. I also want to say that on Saturday is our Women's Empowerment Retreat. Prophetess will be with us as well, her and Apostle, for that. And I also just want to, by way of announcement, tell you guys that Prophetess Valora Co. is being honored as one of our 2024 Virtuous Women's Network honorees. Come on, let's celebrate God for her influence and her impact on the kingdom and on the women that she leads in the Contagious Connection Apostolic Prophetic Global Network of Pastors and Leaders, and in her Fearless Women's Global Women's Organization and Network that she has built. So she is being honored with our Spiritual Mentorship Award. We are so proud of her. This is something that I believe she is duly worthy of. And so we'll be celebrating her at that awards event. So you guys, you want to get in the room. Now, Apostle and Prophetess have an announcement. They are going to be blessing someone on tonight. So I will let them share what we're giving away, so that some of you that are following them, that follow their page, and some of our followers, if you're new to them, you can follow them as well. They're going to tell you how you can follow them, but they got something they want to give away. So what do you guys want to give away on tonight that we are allowing?
Listen, we are super, super excited because we believe in this event. We believe in the vision. We believe in every speaker that's there. And we believe that you will benefit greatly by attending. So we're going to choose one person to bless with a free ticket to attend.
And that's one virtual ticket. I think it's two in-person tickets.
Okay.
So
good.
2 in-person and 1 virtual ticket that's going to be given away. And you can contact us by inboxing us, and we can get that information to you.
Yes, you have to inbox the codes right away. Come on, if that's you, get your in-person ticket. Be the special guest of Apostle and Prophetess Cole, your free ticket. And they have a virtual ticket as well. So they need to inbox Prophetess or Apostle right away, so that you can be listed for that. So we're super excited about that. Yay, that's exciting. Exciting. Well, Apostle, I am just so excited. I have to thank our audience, definitely for tuning in. We appreciate you guys. We know others that will watch the replay. We're very thankful for that. The website information is at the bottom. You definitely want to check that out. We do want to again say thank you. Thank you for tuning in. We hope to see you. It's going to be an exciting time. We are believing God to do some really amazing things in our midst. This vision was inspired by a desire to help bring pastors and leaders and creatives together. We, Apostle and I, are going to be helping as well business leaders, business executive administrators, those who are trying to get the right systems for their team and things of that sort. I have some strategies and tools by way of executive administration that can really help you soar with some of the systems and tools that I use that can help your business, that can help your church if you're just starting, that can help your ministry. And so we're going to be giving that insight in these workshops and in our panels. So you want to be in the room because it's going to help you flourish in whatever it is you're trying to aspire to do or currently already doing. As they already mentioned, they have a publishing company. They are accomplished authors. I don't know how many books they have. I mean, multiple. They have a publishing company. They opened a seasoning line, a cooking line for seasoning. I mean, come on. They sit on multiple boards, right? They founded several churches. They pastor their local church in Tampa. They lead an apostolic network of of pastors and leaders. I mean, it's so many things, and they're managing it all well. They're doing it for the glory of God and for the kingdom. And what I love about Apostle and Prophetess is they don't mind sharing that wisdom and giving it back. So we want to take advantage of that. We want to get in the room for this event. Now, Apostle, tell the audience some of our platform and networks and those that will watch the replay, how they can find you guys, what you guys are up to with Lajun and Valora Cole Ministries, and how they can follow you guys and see what you're doing.
Well,
yeah.
Okay, you want to share with? Okay, so we can follow us. We can look at our website. Of course, it is www.lajun, and it's LAJUN and Valora.com. And then at the bottom of our website, they can scroll all the way to the bottom of the website. And at the bottom of the website, you can get all the other websites that we have. So if it's Contagious Connection, if it's Contagious Church, if it's Fearless Women Global, if it's the Discipleship Institute, if it's Cole Seasonings, I think the only one we don't have on there now is Cole Publishing House. But if they want to have Cole Publishing House, it's www.colepublishinghouse.com. And then we also have Cole Seasonings. So it's www.coleseasonings.com. And so those are some of the ways they can connect with us. Also, we're on Facebook and YouTube. You can see hundreds of videos on YouTube. You can see our videos on X. So we're Lajun and Valora on X, on YouTube, on Facebook, on Threads, on any of the venues that are out there. On Instagram, it's also Lajun and Valora. And so you can follow us from that perspective. And so we're thankful. Thank you so much for having us tonight. We are so appreciative, and we are really praying and believing that God is going to exceed your expectations in all that you endeavor to do as you launch out to bring people together and strengthen them. Somebody asked what was our Instagram and our Facebook. It's Lajun and Valora. So everything's Lajun and Valora. Yep.
Yes, certainly follow them to our women's network that's in the chat, and all of our replay watchers definitely want to get on board. They do amazing prayer, live videos in the morning, praying from A to Z. They have some amazing things that you can get in touch with, as well as their books. So we'll be hearing more from them, of course, at the Pastors, Leaders, and Creatives Conference. So thank you again, Apostle Lajun and Prophetess Valora. I love you so much. My leaders, glad that you were able to be here. And I can't wait to see you in a couple of days in the D. In the D, God's going to get the glory. Let's thank God for them in the chat. Come on, drop some hearts. Let's celebrate them. Let's show them some love. Thank you so much. I love them. I love them. And I'm just so happy that they were able to be here on tonight. Listen, guys, we've got another interview about to start, and I am going to jump over to that studio. But listen, hang on, join the next interview, because listen, it's going to be amazing. It starts at 8:30. And this was a phenomenal interview. So again, this is going to be an incredible time. I hope you guys received something on tonight. I hope you were encouraged as a business owner, a business leader, a ministry leader, and a creative to know that we have to come together. We have to pivot. We have to be flexible. We have to have vision. We have to have strategy, and we got to build a great team and be good stewards over what God has given you to do. Okay. So whatever that dream is and that gift is, we don't want to see you sitting on it. We want to see you working it. Okay. So Apostle Lajun and Prophetess were very encouraging tonight. So be sure to share this replay with someone that you know that needs to see it. And again, we want to just thank you for watching on tonight. And we say God bless you, and join us for sure in our next interview. Thank you.